take the reins, and or you
Yeah.
take the lead or whatever?
I'll take the lead or whatever. Then you can.
I'll take the lead or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Echo. There we go.
All right, so. All right. Want to go ahead and introduce yourself and all that good shit?
Yeah. What's up, guys? I'm Waifu, and I'm going to be speedrunning Devil May Cry 3, new game normal, and it's gonna be a good time.
You want me to start it off, or you got this, or what's up?
Yeah, you started off.
All right, so in this run, we're going to use Royal Guard the entire time. And pretty much a lot of this run comes down to, I want to say like 90% of this, would you agree, is like execution?
Yeah, there's very little RNG, mostly like Cerberus.
Exactly, yeah. So coming immediately into mission 1, there's some key releases that Waifu's going to do. I'm going to concentrate for a little bit here. Just blow these enemies out of the water.
There's virtually no downtime at the start of the game because the first 3 missions are like all combat. Basically what I'm doing is there is a release you can do called the Royal Release, where if you time your block as a parry at the right time, you do a ton of damage. And this instant kills a lot of the base enemies. But this is like a really difficult trick to do. Each one where I zoom to the enemy like that is a 3-frame trick. So the timing is super tight.
So a lot of the way these waves are constructed, it really helps you manage the way that enemies spawn in and how you fight them, as long as you get a lot of these royal releases. The enemies tend to just not go out of control with the way that they spawn, because of how they're timed and etc.
Orbs.
Some of the waves are orbs too. What the heck? Oh no! The orbs. I hate that dude. Apparently I need to go up. This is on HTC PC.
Sass.
Sass. So we got the S rank. So what we want to do, or Waifu, because again, I'm not doing shit. I'm just talking for the entire day until DMC3. But the entire thing that you want to do for the first 2 missions is get the XD or the S ranks.
XD ranks.
The XD ranks in order to get the Stinger 2 for mission 3. And somebody said
I don't know either.
I don't know, man.
I'll take it.
Is it Kevin Nash that has the really, really bad math?
I don't know.
I don't know, man. Anyway, so here we go. Also, you can guard these explosions. That's pretty good. It's pretty awesome. And then that's a nice royal release there.
Basically, yeah, basically you can guard like literally anything in the game except for the acid on mission 8. And once you block, it builds up your meter in the top left. It's the shiny orbs, and the more that it is built up, the more damage you do when you do a release. So basically, I'm trying to intentionally block certain attacks and then use that power from the release to insta-kill other enemies. Like if you do a perfect gold release, it doesn't kill lusts in 1 hit. But if you have some rage meter charged from blocking previous attacks, then it will. So like I blocked the explosion, and then I used that damage from the explosion that I absorbed to insta-kill both those lusts. And like I said earlier, like it's really important that a lot of these you hit the release, because if you don't, then the timing for the whole mission just gets totally borked, because you have to try to catch up with spawns and enemies run away and stuff.
It's just like, and you'll see Waifu periodically guarding like some attacks that come his way, and something like that's a neat little adaptation that you'll see top runners in this game do, which you are a top runner, I don't care what you say, dude. The little adjustments that the few runners make is being able to transfer the extra sort of gauges they'll get in some instances and make them that way. So if there's a mission where you guard 1 or 2 attacks or you have a little bit of extra will gauge, you can transfer that into a cycle for maybe kill and make up the time that you lost guard.
Yeah, sometimes like you'll end up moving time save around to different spots on accident just by like reflex guarding like that. Like where it's not necessarily planned, but you manage to just do it, and then you can, you know, reroute that somewhere else to save you time.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I forgot to mention guard canceling. You can guard cancel the shotgun and pretty much any attack that you do frame one. So you're gonna see Waifu just, you know, Dante's just popping off at the mouth with that shotgun the entire run, basically. It's gonna fall off a little bit in terms of viability as he gets more options like Devil Trigger Explosion and weapon switch canceling with Agni and Rudra or Beowulf. Once you pick up Beowulf, there's not really a whole. There's only it becomes like less of a universal option and more of something that you do situationally to attack on damage. I'm so scared to say it. Cerberus here is like so unpredictable. You just kind of have to wait wildly at its head and hope that you get a lot of damage and you knock it down here. Fortunately, seems to be going pretty well for what it is so far. Again, I said so.
Cerberus is just mean, dude.
That's true. So red that cut all 3 heads at once.
It's a bad Cerberus. Just not like super bad, but it's just slow. Cerberus is like one of the only things in the game that actually has like a legitimate amount of randomness involved. All of his attacks he does are seemingly random, and then you just kind of pray that he falls over like he did. And then like I got a bad fall because I was on the other side of the arena when he fell. But as long as you don't die, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, something to note about the orb route in this game. I talked a lot about the orb route in DMC1 and DMC2 and like residual time loss and all this. But like in this game, orb route is less important. It comes secondary, I should say. It's not that it's not important, but it definitely comes secondary to just how you play the fights and your overall execution of row guard and how quickly you land all the boss fights. You could be like X amount of orbs behind at mission whatever, and if you play really well, you'll get a really nice like rank for that mission, and it will more than make up, you know, whatever time you lost from those orbs.
Yeah, and even if you don't do the correct orb route, like I don't do the correct orb route still, and I'm third, and I just PB'd, so I'm like only a minute behind second now, and I still like do like an impromptu orb route just because I find it a little bit easier and simpler. But it's just make up for it with like just good execution on certain boss fights and stuff. Like it doesn't actually affect that much your orbs being all perfect, which is nice. It's a nice change from like 1 or 2 where like the whole run hinges on your orb count.
Yeah, I definitely think that in terms of how the orb route is structured in this game and the role that it plays, I think that the role that this orb route plays in the game is mostly utility. And it's because the amount of tools that you get is just like Stinger 2 and then DT Explosion. You know, everything else is in your base kit. So a lot of what the orb route goes into is utility of something like Devil Trigger Explosion. Whereas, you know, the other game, a lot of the orb route contributes directly to your damage. So, you know, being behind the orb route here is just a little bit of lost utility. So you might be missing like a purple orb or something, but that's something that you're not going to really notice as much as like missing 3 holy waters.
Yeah. The route's going to be like relatively the same no matter like how far off your orb route is. It's not going to change the way you do boss fights or anything, unless you're like way off, but that like never happens.
Yeah, exactly. So it definitely does set this game apart in being like an almost purely execution run. But moving on to this boss right here coming up, Gigapede. Is one of the I think one of the it's definitely a big reset point. I don't know who it is. Like okay. So Gigapede operates on health threshold and the amount of damage that you do to it. And if you do too much damage to it all at once, it will just like do a spin as you're on top of it. You just like lose the whole cycle and you just gotta fumble around like waiting to catch up to it and stuff. But let's just because Waifu's got the royal gauge stacked up here for it, and this is something else that I should have pointed out is that there are times where you will stack up royal gauge or revenge gauge for later fights. And so you won't use the royal gauge in the fight, but like here you're going to see some release on the boss as well. And that's going to be, you know, royal gauge we got in the previous fight, but it doesn't come into effect until now. And that's one of those things that is like really, really important. It's one of the reasons that, you know, like execution is so important in this game, because if he didn't get the guards on those bombs in the last fight, that boss fight would have been much tougher to do because he wouldn't have had the royal gauge to release on it there.
Yeah, it's exactly the same how like you would route like Devil Trigger in DMC1, where like you might build it in one room to take it over to another and then save it for a boss or something. It's the same thing. Like it doesn't really exactly matter how I did the room before that boss fight. I just know that I have to leave with at least 1 block's worth of guard. If I do that, then I know I can do the boss fight fast.
Exactly. These Goyles, man, sometimes they're so like cooperative, and sometimes they're just like, yeah, I'll just sit here. This is also really one of the top fights you're going to see weapon switching happen on. Like, first examples of it, especially the fight as well. Shotgun Kiss is also important right here. There's a little bit of RNG in this fight, depending on the pattern that he does. I think this is actually this is normally, Yep.
Basically, also, we didn't really exactly explain how shotgun canceling works, but yeah, like, every time you do an attack, you can cancel it with Royal Guard by pressing the block button. So what I'm doing right now is like shoot block, shoot block, shoot block, shoot block, shoot block, shoot block really fast. And I'm doing that by sliding my thumb across from X to B, because I actually am like one of the few runners that plays default controls. And, but yeah, basically like pretty much every attack in the game you can cancel by blocking. And we use this to like slash cancel, where you like slash twice then block, so you don't have to do the third attack and like knock them away, or like shotgun canceling like that to get it really fast. And that just lets you do like a ton of damage. And shotgun canceling is going to be like the most damage heavy thing we can even conceivably do until we get like Agni or Rudra.
And then like once you get level 2 Royal Guard as well, that like after it starts to play Royal Guard, the damage.
Yeah, like the level of Royal Guard. Oh, nice. Smallish Bird, thanks for donating.
Smallish Bird, thank you for the $10. No comment, but appreciate the donation.
Hell yeah. But yeah, basically like the like you were saying earlier, like you don't really buy any of your moveset in DMC3. Mostly your increased moveset comes from leveling up Royal Guard, actually. Like a lot of the tech that you do in this run is like completely dependent on what level your Royal Guard is, and you increase your level of Royal Guard by killing enemies, which just so happens in the speedrun that you always get it at exactly the same time, the level ups, just because of how routing works.
It's actually so like, I was thinking about the other day, it was like, man, how convenient is it that we actually always get level 3 Royal Guard in this run? Like there's just enough mandatory fights.
Yeah, that you always get it.
Yeah, you always get like a level 3.
And you always get it at the same part too, and it's like super useful for the very next room, so like that's really convenient.
It's so wild. I wonder if that's intentional.
Maybe.
Because I know that like I think it's regardless of what difficulty you're on,
You get the same amount.
Yeah, you get the same amount. So, I wonder how like intentional it is or how scripted that is.
Unfortunately, you don't get level 2 until after mission 7, though. Having level 2 for Virgil would be nice.
Well,
Or no, yeah, you do. That's right. His attacks are just not. Yeah, you just have to ground guard anyways because his attacks are like impossible to air dodge or air block.
I think that the only one that you can really want to air guard is probably my time.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like guard. Also, since Waifu is playing on the HD collection, you're not going to be seeing him move in cutscenes. When some runners like myself, we play on the 2006 like crash port, it's just not into playable, and so you'll see us move in cutscenes. Wife is playing on the HD collection as well. It runs by the box and it's like heading. So.
Man, sometimes the camera angles in this fight are atrocious.
Dude, tell me about it. What you want to do here as well is you want to make sure that you're regular releasing against Agni and Rudra.
Yeah, you saw me. I actually gold released some of those attacks on accident. That's actually really bad because if you block too well, then you'll like zoom through them. Nice mission 5S rank. You'll like zoom through them, and that like totally ruins the setup to try to keep them like between you.
Can you turn me up?
I can, yeah.
Yeah, just go ahead and turn me up right now while you're on the menu.
Oh, you're at max. I can turn the game volume down though.
Okay, that sounds good. Hello, hello, hello. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test
That should
1
be better.
2. Test 1 2. Are we good? We good? All right, sick.
Cool. But yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
You want to parry their attacks twice so that you can get some free damage on them. But if you accidentally gold release them by blocking too well, then it like ruins the whole setup and you have to recover. Which makes that fight like really weird because you might be used to like trying to gold release everything, and then all of a sudden you have to like intentionally not do it correctly, which can be weird.
It's super weird. It's one of those fights that like should be more scripted than it is, but yeah, like I don't know, man. Like it's like with Virgil too, you have to like interface them.
Yeah.
To do optimal damage.
There's like alternate strats. Like you have Cerberus, you can like revolver them if you want to be like a little bit safer, but it's just slower, especially since you can't really get like good shotgun cancels off while you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So like I said, you can like guard anything. That also means you can release anything. So anything that can hit you besides the acid formation 8 you can release. So I just released through some of those spikes. Instead of like going around them because it's just a little bit faster. It's hard and like generally you wouldn't go for it, but Mecha Mike asked me to, so I did.
hey man, you gotta pay the respects to the crowd.
It's actually way more useful when you return there because the chances that you actually get good RNG are like super low. So you could just release through every set of spikes and save a bunch of time if you don't get good RNG.
Don't remind me about that. Like, not only am I bad at it with Dante, but like Virgil gets fucked so hard by like the double sets of spikes that come out. Like,
oh yeah, there's like no recovery.
It's like just Devil Trigger run and pray, dude. Like,
yeah. That sucks.
But Dante's got the good life in those rooms. Because it's just up to you, it's not up to the game.
And I'm actually playing super well right now. It's because I'm like ultra warmed up. I literally just PB'd like right before I came onto the stream.
We're also going to pick up a free holy water here. I was commenting earlier about the orb route, and the orb route in this game is mostly just like purple orbs and holy waters. The only move that we buy is actually just Stinger 2. So, we literally save up like all of our money to Holy Water Arkham at the end of the game on Mission 18. The other free Holy Waters that we pick up are for a couple of fights, and if I remember correctly, Waifu, we use it on both of the Fallen fights.
Yeah, because it's just easier for me.
Yeah, that's fair. Normally what you'll see runners do using some of the free Holy Waters is using one of them on a Spiders fight on Mission 10, and then using the other on Mission 16's Fallen fight. But Waifu, I guess he feels that the RNG from the Spiders a little better than the Fallen, so you're just gonna look at all the RNG from the Fallen fights.
Yeah, exactly. Like I hate fighting Fallen, so I just say like screw the Fallen. I'll just fight the Spiders because I actually like often get pretty good Spider fights. Obviously not as fast as Holy Watering them, but like
it's also way more stylish to fight the Spiders than
that's
it is
true.
the Fallen. So
that's true. You can hit some sick gold releases on the Spiders.
Right?
So.
Yeah, dude. Especially when it goes through like one of them and then just kills like the smaller spider when it goes through like the queen spider.
Yeah, and that's like some of that like adaptation that like really can save you a lot of time if you just like know what you're doing. Like sometimes you'll set up like a double trigger explosion and a release at the same time, like kill everything in the room and like just save a ton of time. But it's not something that you could actually like actively strategize out. It just you have to like see it and then just do it while you're like improvising combat.
So all right. Also, the ball and chains that are going to hang from the ceiling too. You're just going to see Waifu stand on top of them and slash cancel them. This completely eliminates any RNG that we would have from having to chase them around or comboing them.
And also, you're going to see a technique that I've been using for a little bit here with that Router called jump canceling. Basically, I'm just going to cancel my attack animation in the air by jumping off the enemy's head. And this allows you to just spam the ever-loving hell out of some like really powerful attacks, like aerial cross I'm doing right here. Like probably one of the highest damaging attacks in the game, and you could just spam it super hard.
It's also really important that he does these like consistently well on these particular enemies, the coffin enemies, because they spawn those additional like prides and lusts and stuff.
Yeah, so if I don't kill them fast, they'll spawn more enemies, which takes even more time.
Yep, exactly.
And you can't jump cancel on the coffin side, so you have to make sure to go around to where the body side is and then jump cancel off from there. As well as in this next room, there's like these poles. They're called the woo poles, where if you do an attack near them while you're in the air, you just stop your attack and start like stripper dancing on the pole, and you go. Yeah, it loses a ton of time, especially since like it can potentially cost you like a few enemy spawns. So you just like hope that the enemies don't walk near them.
Also, is that stinger jump there consistent?
Yeah, it is.
Oh wow, I gotta start doing that then.
Almost got the 3 cycle.
So the Hell Vanguard's gonna go down. Yeah, this is another thing. Like I sit there and like wait for the orbs, but it's just like nah.
Yeah, you just don't need it really.
We're gonna
Just
grab
go
that orb
fast.
crystal later on mission. You grabbed that one on mission 17, right?
Nope. I skip
really?
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, like if you're gonna do it's like so, I do what like a 7 purple orb setup. Like Reki does like an 8 purple orb setup, so I skip a couple things and just don't buy that purple orb.
man, rolled in sugar and call me sweet. So what happens if a speedrunner dies in a speedrun? Somebody asked. You just hit continue and you just keep going. That's all that happens there. Are you normally allowed to use items or revival? Yes. Yes, you are allowed to use gold orbs as well. Everything goes. It's just time loss.
Monka. Ah man, choked. RNG minute, dude. That was gonna be
RNG minute, man. You know, like I forgot to mention this too. Speaking of RNG stuff, this game has adaptive difficulty to an extent, anyway, on some of the bosses. Where if you die, that some of the bosses become a little bit easier to fight. The only one that doesn't is actually Garion, because he stops doing the carriage move. But like Virgil does not. Like when you die once, Virgil does not adjust his AI at all. But like Agni and Rudra, you normally would have to release them twice in order to knock your swords out of their hand. But if you just die, if you die and then you do the fight again, you only have to release once, knock your swords out of their hand.
There we go. One second try. That fight's really hard because to do it optimally, you have to like block all of his attacks, and you can't buffer them by jumping or rolling because his attacks are so precise. They go like directly in front of him, and if you roll or jump, you'll just straight up whiff. And you need to block his attacks to build that release to do the fight fast. So you basically just have to like do the big dick energy and just stand guard, because the reason why like having level 2 Royal Guard makes stuff a lot easier is that if you jump into a Royal Guard, it actually buffers how long it takes for the roll guard to come out. So the invincibility frames from the jump makes it like infinitely easier to get a perfect guard. So like if someone attacks you and you jump and then guard, it basically makes it free, as opposed to just standing there on the ground and then trying to guard it. So that means every time I guard something while standing on the ground, that's like the real, like, scary way to guard something. But oftentimes the way the attacks just work out, you can't actually roll or jump guard them, like, efficiently.
Holy Waters and so Waifu did not heal there because he didn't have any backup healing items, Ransom Seraph, and the Holy Waters we actually save for one boss. They're not as, well, like most of them are saved for one boss. There's only 2 other fights that we use Holy Waters on.
Yeah, I didn't have any backups.
So much in this game. So much. Especially when you buy a lot of it.
Yeah, they learned a lot their lesson from DMC1. You're no longer allowed to buy like a holy water for like 5 cents.
Yeah, right. The economy came knocking on Dante.
Yeah, they're like, okay, how about more than air hike? Like,
yeah. This room as well, this is going to be one of the first examples of using Devil Trigger. I think it's the first example of Devil Trigger.
Yeah, because we just got Devil Trigger, so we wouldn't have used it yet.
Yep. And so you're going to see Waifu just guarding the attacks from these enemies in order to build style gauge and DT in order to then Devil Trigger Explosion like pretty much the whole wave, which is going to contribute to that object in the middle of the room. It's going to make it not like...
There we go.
Nice. So the more orbs you pump into that thing, the more, like, the quicker you'll be able to leave the room.
Yeah, so raising your style meter makes its enemies drop more orbs. So if you get, so the idea in that room is to get like a really high style meter by blocking a bunch of attacks, which will also give you a ton of Devil Trigger, because a perfect block increases your DT by a lot. And then you use Devil Trigger Explosion, which is done by building DT by holding the Devil Trigger button down and then releasing it all at once to do like a ton of damage. And then that also has a really high style gauge, so you can do it in 2 waves if you do it like perfectly and get them all to spawn. Probably gonna die here. My
It's
HP is so bad.
right now, dude. I was surprised you didn't actually go for the green orb that's off to the side.
I forgot about it. Not gonna lie.
Look, man. Look, dude. When you're better at the game, you don't have to know where the backups are.
Yeah,
I
don't need
so I gotta
backups.
know where all the backups are, dude.
Backup? You mean reset?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All the times that I just had to grab the backups.
Oh man, that was a perfect fight. That was a perfect fight.
Oh, nice.
That's the one cycle heart. You can kill the boss super fast by what you do is basically you make it so that you have just enough money that you can buy a purple orb right before the boss fight, and that refills your Devil Trigger all of the way, so you can use your DT during the mission and still have DT for the boss fight. And then you also build up release from the previous room to use on the heart. But you can't ever kill him in like a pure 1 cycle because he just closes too fast. You can't do enough damage. But what you can do is if you do enough damage, he will try to laser you. And then you can proceed to build release off of the laser and then release the laser. If you can successfully do that, then you can kill him in like 1.5-ish cycle, which is like as fast as you possibly can.
Hey, Shay.
So if you've been watching the whole marathon, there's only, we did DMC 1 and 2, right? That's it?
Yep.
Yeah, so there hasn't really been any skips except for that one out of bounds in DMC 2. This game also doesn't really have any out of bounds except for this one right here. This is called a zip. This is kind of like some Mega Man type tech, but in this game it's like really dumb hard. Basically what I'm going to do is stand in a very specific spot and aim across the gap, and then pray that this archer hits me. If he hits me and I gold release his attack, then it will give me so much forward momentum that I actually clip out of bounds, and it shoots me all the way across the map to the other side because I'm aiming over there. It's super hard. It only saves like 20 seconds if done first try. So like that would have only saved like 10 seconds maybe. But it's really cool, so I always go for it.
Got to. Like, I mean, that's like one of the privileges that Dante has over where you run the whole way.
Yeah, no zip. Can't lose your run to pure RNG. Feels bad, man.
Yeah. Dude, who else am I supposed to blame? Like, if I can't blame the game for losing my run?
I don't know, man.
Maybe just myself. But
maybe.
That sounds way better. Anyway, so the spiders here. This is the last fight before. This is the last fight before Nevin, and Waifu's going to be looking to two-cycle Nevin. And he's going to be looking to. Apparently, I'm still low. I don't know why. I think I need to just speak up the entire time.
Maybe. Just start yelling.
Yeah. I just have to yell like into the mic. I just am not used to talking this low or this high. I mean, or loud or whatever the word is. So maybe raise my own volume. I don't know, man. I don't know how to raise my own volume other than like.
I don't know. But was the zip easier on normal? But you would think, so basically the way the zip works is you have to gold release an attack that is RNG if he can hit you. So you get there to stay in the perfect spot, and then you pray that he actually hits you. If he doesn't hit you, then you just have to wait until he eventually does. You would think that makes it easier on higher difficulties. I'm not actually sure. I did do a DMD playthrough recently, and I tried to do the zip, but the enemy placements are different, so it's not even possible, which is unfortunate. It would make it way easier because he would always hit you, but yeah, it's basically an RNG setup into a 3-frame trick that saves like no time. It's all style basically. It's like not worth doing.
Pretty much. So here we go. Nevin, this is like the single hardest attack to guard in the game consistently like that. And then he's just going to do a bunch of weapon switch canceling into regular release and just take out like 60% of her health. And then hopefully be able to repeat this and then be able to just kill her straight up off of it.
Yeah, and I have to guard her attacks really well, otherwise I won't get enough release to be able to two-cycle her, and she'll come out with like a little tiny bit of HP. Great fight though.
Nice. Good stuff. Turn up a little bit, man. Let's get a chance to. This game loud and stuff.
I can lower it a bit again.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
There we go.
Alrighty. Okay. So, mission 10. This is really just like, I think this is kind of a filler mission, just because like, you just have to take a couple of things and take them to their destination. And
yeah, it's like one required fight or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's just the spiders. A lot of this mission is just double trigger management in order to maximize movement and just making sure that you don't flub your other movement techniques like that free ride there or the stickers.
I read it. But yeah, so this is like where my route differs from like what some other people do. The spider fight on this mission is normally what you would use that holy water for, but I really don't like Fallen, so I'm just going to save it for mission 15 right at the start. So it turns the spiders from like a mandatory fight that uses holy water into like something that has like a lot more randomness involved. But it has the potential to be really cool, so there's the upside of that. Also, you'll see me sometimes like jump on purpose into spikes, or when I'm waiting for enemies to come to me, I'll like hug a door. And I'm doing that so that I can build Devil Trigger and release off of blocking the door. Just because you have some downtime, so you may as well raise your damage. And it can save quite a bit of time, because you'll end up getting some really nice release damage.
good jump cancels here too on the spiders. Really just trying to like, if you can jump cancel those spiders consistently with that Gamma they just take a whole lot of damage and really just don't have a chance to act. Nice reverse release there.
It was totally on accident, but I'll take it.
It was on purpose, dude. That's RNG manipulation too. Got this.
See, like, this is actually a really good spider fight.
Yeah.
Because I was able to get a lot of gold releases, and I killed the queen spiders really fast. Like, that wouldn't lose, like, an insane amount of time versus, like, holy watering them, for instance. It would still lose time, but not that bad. But sometimes it doesn't go nearly that good, and just, like, it's a nightmare.
All right, mission 11, Beowulf.
Best part of the game.
Mission, I guess depends on what your definition of best is. But,
most recent heavy part of the game.
It's one of the, I think it's one of the hardest but most satisfying boss fights to do.
Yeah, I agree. Just in gaming in general, like in speedruns, I love the boss fight here.
Yeah, like so what Waifu's going to be trying to do on Beowulf is, once we get to that fight, he's going to be building up his royal gauge by, of course, blocking Beowulf's attacks. And then he's going to be doing a bunch of jump cancels, hopefully on Beowulf's head, in order to make certain that he can do a gold release with, is it with Devil Trigger Explosion, or is it just...
No, it's just DT'd.
Okay, yeah. So it's a DT'd gold release, and if he does enough damage before Beowulf does an AoE attack around himself, Waifu's going to be able to just gold release and instantly kill Beowulf, because doing a DT'd gold release on Beowulf's eye does a ton of damage.
Yeah, it does like over 75% of his entire HP bar, if done absolutely perfectly. It's the hardest thing to do in the whole game, but you get 2 chances to do it. Actually, in my PB that I got literally just before this, I did it in both fights. So those splits are not going to be fun to run against, that's for sure. Because it saves like 45 seconds over like choking the fight to get it perfect like that, which is a ton of time.
I also never double trigger this Vanguard here. I just use the double trigger explosions on the wagon.
Yeah. I mean, you can do... Oh, I don't know, actually, which is faster. The idea there, I think, is like you DT explosion and it kills the Reaper too.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it's based on. I just know that like more recently I've seen Simo just like do double trigger explosions on the wagon.
Yeah, once I get like past mission 10, a lot of my strats are a little bit outdated, but it's still like not. That's like one of the things I really like about this game is like you don't have to be doing exactly the same thing, and like all that, because the game is really hard, and as long as you're doing a lot of damage, it doesn't really matter that much. So you get a little bit of expression in the combat, which is cool. You don't really see that from speedruns.
It's mostly like, just like we talked about, it's really all on that execution, and there's key instances where adaptation is really important. The benefit here of actually running on the HD collection is although you lose a little bit of time on these despawns, you do get a lot of Devil Trigger before heading into Beowulf as well. In addition to that royal gauge.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully we'll get it. We'll see here. I just need a little bit of more block, and then just hit insane jump cancels, and it'll all be fine.
Yep. I'm gonna just let you just do your thing. Shut up for a sec.
This camera is already trash. Here we go. I got really good jump cancels, but I choked the release.
It's unfortunate.
It's okay. We got another chance to show it off later.
Yeah. This part here too, this attack that he does, like he always readjusts himself to just duff you, just take you to Duff City. So like I usually position myself like behind him just to get some free damage, and then he just like turns around and just duffs me. Sometimes like the hitbox on that punch too is enormous.
Yeah, it's really big. That's still actually a pretty decent fight. Like There's a couple of backups. If you don't, so I got the gold release, but I like did it in the wrong spot and barely hit him, so I did like a little tiny bit of damage. But if you hit like a very particular part of his eye, it'll just like basically insta kill him. And then as soon as he recovers from that, he does like a forward charge leap attack, and you can block this. If you block this, and you kind of save the whole fight, because then he just like starts over from the beginning with his attack patterns, and then you can kill him from there generally. But that save is really hard.
Cyan, I believe that the power of the attack release doesn't make a difference in damage output. I think it's just what you built up. Beowulf's eye just like has a huge vulnerability on it, so you've got all this damage stacked on top of him actually like having a weak spot that allows you to like blow him out of the water like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it just has to do with his eye in particular just being like a super big vulnerable spot. So on this mission, we're going to have infinite Devil Trigger, but our HP is slowly dwindling. This actually doesn't change very much about like how you do this mission at all. You'd probably do it exactly the same, except probably with a little bit more management on your Devil Trigger. And you can't, I don't think you can DTE. You can't Devil Trigger Explosion in this mission, just because you have infinite Devil Trigger.
Yeah, well, it's like the forced Devil Trigger. It's just forced on all the time.
Yeah, so you can't actually charge it, which actually would probably make this mission slower by having infinite DT. If I would like could guess.
Maybe.
Just because like you could probably get a good cycle out of a DT explosion.
Especially on the Vanguard room.
Yeah, for sure.
Dragons, yeah.
You don't really have to worry about dying on this mission, at least on this difficulty, just because like the enemies drop way more HP. And the only part that gets kind of scary is like this last room after this next one with the Vanguard. If you try to like do too much damage to the Vanguard at the beginning, then you could find yourself dying.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, talking about like when you die, the bosses get easier, and I said that Garion actually gets harder if you die on this mission, because you want to be able to block his wagon attack when he gets up, and he stops doing the wagon swing if you die. So like in casual play, it's probably easier to deal with not having to deal with the carriage attack, but for speedrun purposes, it actually makes the fight harder if you die like you do to Garion.
Yeah, and you don't need Garion to be any harder, trust me. Garion's already really hard. He's definitely one of the big reset points, like horse emoji, time emoji, like reset. Go back to mission 1.
Let's see here. I think this is your best DMC game time-wise.
Yeah, it is for sure. Yeah, this fight sucks. You have to have like insane depth perception, because you need to either arrow cross or helm breaker the horse in the face, and it is very hard. And every time you miss it, he gets faster, so the timing becomes different.
I thought that was like just me. I'm glad to know that's an actual thing. I could have sworn it was an actual thing when I was playing the other day.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
Also, since I'm playing HD Collection, there is a meme here called the HDC meme, right, where instead of doing the carriage spin like he does there, sometimes he'll just teleport for no reason. He's supposed to always open up with the carriage spin, but on HD Collection sometimes he just doesn't. Thankfully he did. It makes it like way easier. Oh great, here we go. This is why Garion sucks. Basically the strat is to just get him stun locked in the middle of the arena by helm breakering him in the face over and over again. But if you even miss one of them, then he runs around in a circle, and it makes it like impossible to stop him. And if you're like too far outside the center of the arena, then the same thing happens like that. This is like still kind of decent though, because I got that release. Okay, that's one way to kill the.
What the hell? What happened?
That's
Did he
hilarious.
despawn?
No, I released him.
Oh, you released him? Okay, I didn't even see the damage go through.
That's
What?
That's fun. So basically what happened there is I got caught by the chariot, which basically will do a ton of damage to you, but I actually managed to block all of the attacks from the chariot, and then I released the last one. So instead of getting tossed by the chariot, I managed to turn it into an upside and do a bunch of damage. That's like what we were talking about earlier with like being able to adapt, stuff like that. Obviously that's not faster than just like doing it the correct way, but
Yeah, but it's minimizing the time loss. I'm gonna just need you to stop popping off though, my G. Like, what the
that was
hell
sick.
that? That was sick, dude. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I would say, at least for me, Garion is definitely the hardest boss in the game to do like correctly. It's just like, I don't know, it doesn't require you to do like any crazy releases or anything, but just, I don't know, depth perception is not a skill of mine, I guess, because like I cannot do those helm breakers sometimes.
They're tough, man.
Some people aerial cross it. I think that's even harder.
I think I actually aerial cross it sometimes. It's just
Really?
like the hitbox on that move is just so huge.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Sometimes it's like it's a little bit more generous. I think it might depend on the anglers and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So this mission's really short. It's basically already over. We just gotta beat Virgil 2. Virgil 2 is definitely like the big choke point in the run, I would say, because you're trying to do a phase skip, and Cosmic can explain that.
Yep, so the phase skip for this, Waifu's going to be doing 13 hits, like just a normal combo to Virgil here at the start, and then he wants to make sure that he's built up a lot of Devil Trigger gauge and maxed out his revenge gauge. And so what he's going to do is build up a Devil Trigger explosion and just do a bunch of DT'd like slash cancels and stuff, and then release Virgil, and it's going to do so much damage to Virgil that it's just going to completely skip the DT phase.
Oh, I could not believe I just got that.
Yeah, man, it was close. I had faith. I had faith.
Good fight.
Nice.
But yeah, you do so much damage that he knocks him out of DT and he switches right to Yamato, which is super useful because, as I'm sure you know, DT Virgil 2 is terrifying. Especially since the Beowulf attacks are super hard to royal guard. And my game crashed. Dope.
Nice.
Nice.
Do you have a save file there?
I should have a save file close at least.
Close, okay.
I might be cheating a little bit.
That's fine.
Yeah, HTC moment.
HDC.
Hopefully, let's see.
The game crashed. No. Good old loner hero, man.
The game crashed. It's okay. What were we at mission wise?
14.
14. Cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna have a little bit more than I'm supposed to, but that should be fine.
Fine. Yeah. You'll just have to. I mean, you already have Beowulf here, so like.
Yeah.
Just pretend like you're going over to grab Beowulf.
Yeah, I'll just go grab Beowulf real quick.
Yeah. Okay. So now that we've defeated Virgil too.
Oh, this is a great meme.
Oh boy. Oh.
It's okay.
Wow. All right. Anyway, so we're gonna have Beowulf here, and you're gonna get rid of Spiral there, my G.
Yeah. So a new glitch that I discovered today actually occurred, where basically sometimes on the HD collection the game breaks and it gives you all the items you have on your farthest playthrough, even though you're not on that save. So this is my save file from my Dante Must Die playthrough. That's why I have so much extra health.
Oh gosh.
Which is a good meme. But I only have what, like one extra DT rune than I would have, and just a little bit more HP. It's not like that different.
Yeah, so right there would be an orb cache that he would be grabbing as well, in order to in order just to secure a little bit more of the holy waters later on. We do get Beowulf at this mission, which is just an absolute godsend because this weapon has just so much utility, not only in terms of damage, but in terms of movement. It allows you to do like some tricky angles and stuff with dive kicks.
Yeah, Beowulf is like a godsend for the rest of the run. Like everything that I was jump canceling with Agni Ruja, we're going to instead dive kick with Beowulf.
Yeah, and it's going to pretty much completely replace. I think it completely replaces weapon switch canceling at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, it just does more damage than that even.
Yep. So just jump canceling the dive kicks is just so much damage overall that weapon switch canceling goes out the window basically.
Trying to think how many holy waters I'm supposed to have. I have 3, which is good. I should be fine.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully you've got enough.
What I need 6 holy waters.
You need 5 for Arc. You can do 4 though if you really like.
Oh, then it's more than fine.
Yeah. Because you can just do like 2, and then as he's coming down, like just do 2, and then just damage him into the next phase, and then do 2 again, and then kill him.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, not a big deal. I had to delete my actually on mission 19 because it had 6 holy waters for Virgil.
Oh really? For Arkham?
Yeah, for Arkham on my Virgil. My old Virgil route, I used 6 holy waters, so I had to delete that gold because it was just like an instant.
Just huge time loss.
Yeah. So this is also one of those missions where like you can just conceivably lose a whole lot of time if you don't play it correctly, because not only is Devil Trigger Explosion like super important here, but also like doing the gold releases just to get a little bit of extra like security on the kills here.
Yeah, basically this whole mission is like literally just killing like these few horse rooms and stuff. And it's all about how you route your Devil Trigger. Like if you route your Devil Trigger incorrectly, then you will lose a ton of time here.
Oh, you have air hike too.
That's a good meme.
That's good. I was like, wait a minute. I like.
Yeah, I didn't even notice.
I
feel like,
that,
what is that? Oh, he has air hike. I see.
Oh, that's air hike.
It's okay. I just pretend I jump canceled. I basically did anyways.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Popping off, dude.
I was actually in the process of making backup saves just in case I happen to crash. And then what do you know? I crash.
Well,
but that's okay. So what? This holy water is gonna be gone, right? Pretty sure. Yep. That's fine. Well, I definitely ain't using the holy water on the fallen here.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's fine. Do you not have any on you?
I have 3. So I'm Big
Oh,
Sean.
you have 3 on you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
I'm fine. I just can't use them for the extra stuff. This would be the last time you'd use a bonus holy, or no, there's one more later. There's one other spot where you'd use a bonus holy water, but it's just killing more fallen, so not a huge deal. Come here, fallen. Come here, dude. Come here. Thank you.
This is another one, like, so a lot of the, I want to say like a lot of the tension in the run is sort of packed into those first 13 or so missions, and then there's a little bit of downtime here because a lot of this is like a glorified fetch quest almost. A lot of just movement and making sure that we manipulate the wheels properly.
Yeah, for sure. You can do a little bit of a skip here by doing like specific wheel movement, like 2-1-2-2, right? And And that makes it so you skip a mandatory fight, which is like really nice. But other than that, like mission for me, I think like mission 14, 15, and 16 are all sleeper, and then like it starts to get it picks up again at like 17, and then 18 is like really crazy. 18 is fun.
Yeah, it's like once I like 17 too. I like the doppel fight.
Yeah, doppel's fun.
And you're also gonna go for, well, I guess you can actually go for Death Warp, can you?
Yeah, I'll just set it up now.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were just gonna like say screw it, just because of how much health you have.
What was that? How much? What I have? Oh,
Oh, that's a lot of damage.
that's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. All right. So, what's a little annoying about some of these rooms is that like because all these hallways are just absolutely littered with enemies. We can't really do like any sort of stinger movement really. It's just a lot of just sort of walking, and you saw your waifu there using the double trigger run to gain a little bit of an advantage in terms of speed.
There we go. Now just don't die early.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so basically what I'm doing there is, since our movement's really limited, or it should be, we don't really have a good way of getting back up here, and it is very slow, as well as you would have to backtrack through a big like puzzle room. So instead, what we do is we set up a death warp. So after I pick up the item, and it has to be after I pick up the item, I want to die as fast as I can because it'll teleport me back to that door up at the top. But I need to make sure not to die beforehand. There we go. Now I can die. So obviously you want to get your health as low as possible before this point, as to make the death warp faster. But you want to make sure that you don't die beforehand, because then you lose a ton of time.
So that was good, and that actually, the way that we do the wheels as well here too actually skips the last mandatory spider fight. So that's like really important. That's why we do the 2-1, 2-2 on the rotations of the wheels there.
Yeah, and then this mission's going to be really important that we build up our release to use for the boss, because we're going to fight Lady, and Lady can be super annoying. Like, really annoying if you don't do it correctly. We're going to do a phase skip on her as well, so we don't have to deal with some of her attacks where she runs away.
Oh yeah, the phase skip there. You want me to explain that now or just a little bit later?
Yeah, it's later, it's fine. First we gotta hit some balls together.
That's fair. I guess you
What's funny? There's nothing funny about that, sir.
That's fair. Yeah. I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm just broken right now. Yeah, so these fallen here, they're basically, this game's like Tin Scissors, but on crack. They just like to go out of bounds, but like they also, this is the thing about these enemies, is that they really don't like it when you're in the air against them, and they just have such wide range attacks. It's so crazy. Fortunately, you can aggro them with the Ebony and Ivory there, like you saw Waifu shooting them a lot, just so that they would stay out of the walls, but even then they're still just kind of hard to handle at times.
Yeah, those ones, even like with the most optimal routing, you holy water them to death, but since I had that meme with the crash, I can't afford to use a holy water there. I need to save it.
There's going to be another room here where he's going to hit the ball and chain. Going to just do the weapon switch canceling. This is going to be one of the few instances where you actually weapon switch cancel with Beowulf. And again, it's just going to be to eliminate the RNG of having to chase the chain around. Like, because what they want you to do is like combo it, chase after it, and everything. But that's slow, so we're just not going to do it.
Yeah, the amount of stun that you put out on your first attack is really low, pretty much no matter what weapon you use. So if you cancel and only do first attacks, it won't fly away from you because you're not stunning it very hard. It's kind of like a similar principle to like how Virgil works. We didn't really explain it, but basically like the way the Virgil fights work is there's this, he resets when you can hit him based on stun values, not damage values. So you do a very specific set of attacks as to do the most amount of damage with the least amount of stun.
Yeah, and it's normally 12 hits, so it's like normally 6 sets of 1-2 combos and then a final like third hit, which equates out to 13 hits. And that's pretty much the combo that you're going to use to just knock him away from you and do the amount, like the optimal amount of damage to him every time.
Yeah, exactly.
So then, heading into Lady here, what Waifu's going to want to do once he reaches the Lady fight is he wants to skip the phase where she's going to jump up on the bookshelves of the library and start throwing grenades down at her. And the way he's going to do that is by doing a specific amount of damage first phase, and then the second attack that she does, he's going to unleash the release gauge that he has, as well as do a ton of damage with Beowulf. And that's going to make it so that she just completely skips that phase, and she goes immediately to her third phase.
Where she basically just lets you stand there and hit her.
Yeah, there and hits her. Yep, exactly. And the way that this boss works as well is like the direction that she grapples away from you, you want to go in the opposite direction, and then she'll heal there.
Oh, that's one too many hits. That still works. That's fine. Now, since I have level 3 early because of the crash meme, I did a little bit more damage than I was supposed to, but the fight looks essentially the same.
Oh, that shit, that was... I just saw it like a second ago, and it just registered how much damage you just did there, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my goodness, that's all. That's so crazy, dude.
Yeah, the amount of damage you do with level 3 release is like actually insane. And it stacks with DT too.
Oh man.
And that wasn't even a gold release. Gold releases do way more damage too.
I think that like if you like imagine if you like gold release threw a bullet at her.
Probably insta-killer, to be honest.
Oh. I can't even think about it. Oh man.
Yeah, loner crashed my game, dude. Feels bad.
Yeah.
Can't believe you do that. He sent the run assassins.
This is just gonna be a lot of wall hiking here as well in order to skip like all the bad. Like that fight pretty much, or not that fight, that room there with the platforming is also pretty canned as long as you do it correctly. You just have to do a lot of jumps.
It's like really annoying, but once you practice it a bunch, it's fine. Or alternatively, you could be like me and choke it in your PB and lose 20 seconds, which is great.
Sick.
Yeah. The return of the spike room. Yeah, this one, instead of just leaving 2 openings, they only leave 1, and then it makes it so that the RNG is way more unforgiving. As well as I believe they come faster than the first time you go in that room.
They don't build guard.
Woo! So yeah, basically there what I did is I rode the Abyss into the other ones and then DT Explosioned, which killed them all. We're gonna do that a couple times for Abyss because the way that they spawn is like in these weird packs that are like usually pretty far apart from each other. And their gimmick is that you can, once you knock them back, they just will always come back immediately. And they're really good for building Royal Guard. because you can rail guard them and then they'll just bounce back to another attack that you can immediately rail guard, and the timing is like pretty easy.
I'm gonna show him flash on that.
Good fight. Yeah, you can actually manage to one cycle that boss just by making sure you have enough Devil Trigger and then doing enough damage on the in-between phases right before you get like the actual good chance at the end.
You don't even need guard gauge for that?
No, you don't. If you just have good jump cancels, you can get 4 hits on each cycle, and then in the final one, if as long as you have enough DT, you'll be fine. Okay, I'm gonna need holy water for this. So now we're on mission 18, which is one of my favorite missions. It's got a lot of cool stuff. We gotta do this chest fight first, which we're going to kind of do a little bit of an exploit on it by using a holy water to aggro the king, and then just killing the king immediately, because everyone knows in chess if you kill the king, you win. So you just can skip the whole fight by aggroing him early and then killing him right away. And then we're going to switch back to Agni and Rudra, because the 2 of the fights that we're actually going to use swords for, Agni and Rudra is super useful. You know how we were having a really tough time with Cerberus earlier? Cerberus is now a complete joke because Agni and Rudra is broken when it comes to Cerberus.
I was going to say that. This is the revenge on Cerberus. Like, this fight especially feels incredibly satisfying to me at this point, because this does show, like, just exactly how much more powerful you are at this juncture in the game, and you only have a couple more tools as opposed to when you initiate blocking. Just aerial cross here is a godsend. It's so good.
Good fight.
And you doing Beowulf second, or are you doing
Agni Rudra second.
So, what Waifu wants to do here is try and get both of them knocked down, and then he wants to do a Devil Trigger explosion to really just chunk them down immediately.
There we go, nice save. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Oh well. Shit happens.
Yeah. I thought that I was going to parry him on that last one, but then he actually blocked the Devil Trigger explosion. I guess I missed the parry. That's so fun. That's okay. This is why you want to kill them close together, because then you get this unskippable cutscene and they combine. But the combined form isn't like much harder or anything. This is kind of annoying.
Fortunately, we have all this health right now from the,
It wouldn't really matter.
yeah, but at least you don't have to, like, sweat it with, like, the small-ass health bar.
Yeah.
Alright, so then...
Get another chance at getting the quick Beowulf kill. Hopefully we can show it off, because it's really cool. But no promises. It's like the hardest thing in the game.
I still find, like, it hard to, like, just guarding is just so hard.
Nah. Dang, that sucks. It's okay though.
Just gonna clean it up here like normal. You can also actually build some guard gauge off of these cages if you want to play this fight a little bit safer. But you see here, Waifu just kind of jump canceling on the eye as well in order to maximize damage from the front, and tempering his DPS a little bit. in between Beowulf's attacks.
Yeah, I was trying to make sure you're always doing damage and like just getting his attacks in the eye because it does a lot more. And so right there after we killed him is where we'd unlock level 3 Royal Guard. And that's going to be really useful because on mission 19 there's these abyss that make it really easy to get full guard.
Oh yeah, this mission's fun too. Because it's just fighting a bunch of abyss and then you just nuke Arkham with holy waters.
And that's always the best part of the run, just nuking Arkham with holy waters.
It's therapeutic, man, because then you have to after that. As long as he like keeps guarding the enemy, they're just gonna keep flying back at him. You can just infinitely loop this one to get a lot of guard.
Yeah, and you just use that at the end of the fight so that you can go ahead and get that right back. And it's very useful, especially for this room, because this room has a gimmick where you got to break the mirrors to kill the enemies. You can't actually damage them normally, so you want to build up DT and guard so that you can just break the mirrors instantly and not have to wait for anything. Because breaking the mirrors manually is really, really slow. Yeah. Yo, with $100. Yo.
Skyart
you.
15 donated $100 to charity. If you guys don't know Skyart 15, he is the developer for a indie 2D character action game called Astoria Legends. It looks pretty cool. I've played a little bit of it. It's a good time. Go to their website, follow him on Twitter, and check it out. Guy definitely shows that he has a lot of potential in game dev. So he should be proud of what he's made so far. And thank you so much for your donation.
Yeah, thanks for the donut. That's awesome. So sometimes you'll see me pausing in the middle of combat. That's because if you want to cancel your double trigger explosion when you already have it charged, you can pause the game and then let go, and then once you unpause, it lets you regain your double trigger without using the explosion. So like if I find myself holding it where I don't need to, I don't want to accidentally let go of it, so I'll pause and then make sure that I'm all good to go.
And what does Skyart say? Proud of the community for doing something good for humanity. Amen. Amen.
I'm at 6. Cool.
Oh, you're at 6. You're just gonna be able to nuke him now.
Yeah.
So normally we'd only have about 5.
5, yeah.
Holy waters coming into here, so we wouldn't just be straight up nuking him like Waifu's about to do here. But it's okay. So here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what it would look like. I could just nuke him with all of them, but you don't have quite enough money to do that. But the main reason why you use Holy Waters for the second phase of the fight is because during the fight where you have Virgil on your side, you can't use your Devil Trigger and you can't use Royal Guard. So all of your things that you actually use to do damage, you can't do. So it's super, super slow.
Just left with your base kit essentially. Just
you got a Virgil button though. You got a second controller. Just play some co-op real quick.
Hell yeah. Alright, so here we go, Virgil 3. This is going to be another quick phase skip as well using Devil Trigger Explosion. He's going to try and kill him in 3 phases of damage and let him go with it.
Easy clap. That was a really good fight.
There we go. GG.
With a 113, that's not too bad considering we got the crash and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, GG. Waifu, that was Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition. New game normal Dante. Wasn't any percent. We're gonna actually have to talk to ESA about that still.
Yeah.
Our categories are not any percent.
It's all good though. That was a fun run. I gotta make some backup saves for the crashes, but it's rare. It like doesn't happen very often. I'd say that was like a decent recovery from it. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Good job, dude.
But yeah, basically what we did at the final boss there is the same thing we did at Virgil 2. You end up doing so much damage that you skip him going DT entirely. So you get him like just to like 51% HP, or maybe it's like 45-ish, somewhere around there. And then if you drop him below that and then he loses stun, he'll do his like DT where you can't hit him. So to avoid that, you get him just above it, and then you do so much damage that you instantly kill him without him ever getting a chance to get to use the DT. So you get to do that fight in like 35-40 seconds if done like really well, and that was a really good fight.
No one can have this, Dante. It's mine.
Yeah, but that was fun. Thank you guys for having us, and thanks for raising some money. That's really cool.
Awesome. Great job, Waifu. We're glad to
Thank
have
you.
you on.
Thank you.
Always, man.
And next time is gonna do LDK 4, Lady Trish.
Yep. She's gonna be doing new game plus no items. Lady Trish Legendary Dark Knight.
Nice, that'll be cool.
Sick.
Sick.
Yeah, you can whatever, man.
Cool.
So.
Appreciate you guys.